Today I want to show you a simple way to create three-dimensional letters using two calligraphy pens. So here's the two pens that I'll be using. One is a black Staedtler Calligraph Duo. The other one is a colored Zig calligraphy pen. And just for some final details, I will also be using a Pigma Micron pen. So to start with, I've already written the main parts of the letters. And there's two things to take note of before we get started. One is that you'll probably want to do this part of the lettering in some kind of a dark opaque ink, because when you use the second color it's going to actually go over top of some of this part of the letter, and so you need something that's not going to show through. The other thing you want to keep in mind is when you're doing this, because you're going to be creating a shadow side to the letter, you need to space your letters a bit further apart to leave room for that shadow part. Okay, now to create the 3D part of this letter, and for this part I'm going to be doing the shadow parts of the letter on the right side facing toward the bottom right. And to do that, I'm going to turn my page a 90-degree angle. And now I'll show you how to add the shadow side to that. So the trick to this is that you're going to use the right side of your pen is going to follow the right side of the letter here. So if I just follow along the edge of the letter, that's what I end up with. And there I've just, as simple as that, I've got a three-dimensional letter. There's your shadow side to the right. Now I'm just going to use the same kind of thing to do a shadow side, this time to the left side, and this will be facing toward the top. And this time we're going to do the shadow off of the left side and off of the top edge. So here's what we're going to do. So there you have the shadow on that side of the letter. And there's your three-dimensional letters. Now I'm going to show you just another way to add a little bit more dimension to this if you want to make it really stand out as a dimensional letter, is just to take your pen and outline the shadow side that you've created. And then if you want to make it even more of a dimensional sort of thing, anywhere where you have a corner to the letter like that, or an angle like that, you can just add those parts and it'll bring it out that much more. And one more little trick to this, if you want to add even more shadow to that, on this case I'm going to do it as if the light was coming from the top down this way. So anything that's underneath the letter that wouldn't be catching the sunlight, you can kind of shade in. Gives you a bit more shadow to the letters. So there's a couple of different things to try for making three-dimensional letters. One little trick though that I would suggest is when you're using three-dimensional letters in a piece, don't mix and match the angles of the shadow. Always, if you're going to use, say, this one, then do everything in your piece, you know, with the shadow to the same side. Otherwise, something about it just looks visually wrong. So enjoy this.